Black Elk prophesied that after his own people were destroyed, another apocalypse would eventually affect the entire world.
All over the universe, I could hear the winds at war, like wild beasts fighting. It was dark and terrible about me, like rapid gunfire and whirling smoke, like women and children wailing and screaming all over the world.
From the authors of the Bible to Native Americans, oracles predict a looming doomsday in our own time, centered on the year 2012. Is it coincidence or prophecy? Will the end of the world be on December 21st, 2012? Around the world, prophecies suggest that something dire might happen on that apocalyptic date. Some of the most specific prophecies of apocalypse come from the Hopi tribe of the American Southwest.
The Hopi are probably the oldest tribe that is here in the United States. The Hopi, since the late 1940s, started preparing and teaching this prophecy. It's a gloomy prophecy, but yet it coincides with other prophecies at this time.
The Hopi believe that the world has been created and destroyed 4 times, and we are about to see the destruction of the 4th world.
The basic idea of the Hopi prophecies is that we're on the verge of transitioning to the 5th world. And they say that there was a whole set of conditions and things that they expected to happen that they say have all been completed except for 1 or 2 little things.
The signs for Hopi doomsday. The seas shall begin to rise. Great quakes will shake all corners of the globe, and the sun itself will turn hotter.
We're seeing how things since the 90s began speeding up, and things were moving quicker and quicker. The glaciers that are melting, they're melting at an incredible rate. Everyone knows that the water is going to rise everywhere. Certain places may no longer be here as we know them. I think now we're beginning to see that what indigenous people were talking about, and even perhaps the book of Revelation, is happening.
One surprising prophecy from the Hopi: near the end of days, the world will be crisscrossed by a device they called a spider web. Could this be a reference to the World Wide Web that links our world like never before? The internet may be more than a reference point on the timetable of doom. Disturbing prophecies are beginning to emerge from an oracle called the WebBot Project. This program scans the World Wide Web for hints about the future and reports back with prophecies that are as ambiguous as the oracles of the ancient world, and just as chilling.
One of the problems with the technology is we don't get good news out of it. Yeah, we get particulars like, forecast of an attack on Israel or big West Coast earthquake.
The WebBot Project attempts to read the unconscious mood of the world by making massive scans of the language used in hundreds of thousands of websites. The process involves many programs called spiders or agents.
The spiders go out and they literally read the whole internet. And we look for keywords, words of interest. So every time they come across a phrase off of our seeded list, they'll take a snapshot. We aggregate typically 60 to 100 million reads.
The WebBots began as a tool to pick stocks in the late 1990s.
This started off to pick the all-time high of Microsoft.
But the predictions soon became ominous. In the year 2001, one of the WebBot programmers noticed that there were more to the results than simply financial predictions. Phrases began to emerge, connected to calendar dates.
And finally, he made a rather startling prediction, and that was that in the next 60 to 90 days, some event would change forever how we live in America.
This prediction was made in June 2001. The WebBot developers believe it was an accurate prediction of the terrorist attacks of September 11th.
I don't think there's any argument that 9/11 changed everybody's life. And since then, we've gone on to get this sequence of accurate predictions.
If real, the future forecasts of the WebBot are anything but rosy. And like other oracles around the world, the WebBots also point to a global cataclysm in the year 2012.
I honestly don't know what's going to happen in 2012. This technology may start meshing with a lot of the other predictive things out there, like Mayan calendar, because we get into that period where awful lot of talk about sun, awful lot of talk about energy, gamma ray bursts.
The WebBots suggest a destructive phenomenon eerily similar to the Mayans' planetary lineup and catastrophe.
We could see an extraordinary solar event. Does that mean a big plasma discharge that comes out and slaps the Earth around and burns a good chunk of North America except for people in caves? A little early to tell on that.
Is the high-tech oracle of the WebBots predicting the same planetary alignment and catastrophe as the Mayans, the I Ching, Merlin, the Sibyl, and the Book of Revelation? Or is it all just coincidence, a meaningless pattern of random events? Throughout history, people have believed the end was near, and they were wrong every time.
You can track people predicting that the end is nigh for centuries, for millennia. It's always, oh, it's within 5 years or 3 years, just enough to collect some money for the collection plate.
The fact is, we can't foresee the future. But what we can do is we can live in hope for the future. We can have an attitude of optimism about the future. And that really is the message of what prophecy is about.
As the weeks and months tick down,